All right, welcome back to the Central Valley Buzz, everybody. Hey, Willie, let's bring in our next guest, Michael Bogart. Hello, sir.
Hey.
How are you?
Chuck.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
21st Century Ministries, Mind Cuisine.
Right.
And now, I see here on the desk that you brought something called the 45-Minute Bible.
That's right.
Now, this couldn't possibly be the Old Testament and the New Testament.
Well, you know, people wonder if I can do the whole Bible in 45 minutes, and obviously I leave a lot of information out. But what this video does, and I'm just coming out with a book version as well, it gives you the big picture. I mean, like the bird flying over the Bible, you see the whole thing at once. Not a lot of detail.
The bird flying over the Bible, Billy.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
The Holy Spirit flying over the Bible.
Okay, so I think that a lot of people would love to read the Bible, but gosh, it takes a long time to read the Bible from front to back.
I'll tell you a quick story related to this video. My nephew is a professional videographer up in Oregon, and he came down. He says, "Uncle Mike, what do you want to do in terms of, this is like my 5th video." And I said, well, let's do one on the Bible. Let's do a 45-minute Bible. And so he was making this video. He did all the videography. He did some of the graphic design, put it all in there. And then he met an old friend from high school who'd become an atheist. And, he was saying some stuff about the Bible. The Bible's mean and it's hateful and all this kind of stuff. And my nephew...
Well, it is.
Well,
really?
there are parts in there that I think you have to understand culturally, sure.
Right.
But my nephew was saying, well, it's not like that. You need to read it. You need to understand it. And he says, well, why don't you just read the Bible yourself? And the guy says, well, I'm not going to do that. It's too big, just like you said, too long.
It takes too much time.
So then my nephew said, would you watch a 45-minute video on the Bible? Well, the guy watched it, and a week later he calls up and says, you know what, I have to admit, you're right. It's nothing like I thought.
And it's not just you talking really super fast.
No, it's not me talking. There's such a thing as graphic design that sort of enhances the message.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell me in 5 minutes about the 45-minute Bible. Can you do that? Let's break it down.
Absolutely. I start off with the fact, in fact, I interview some of my college
You start
students.
off in the Garden of Eden? You start off back in what?
I start off with interviews of my students at West Hills College just to talk about what they know about the Bible, what they don't know about the Bible.
What they think they know?
What they think they know about the Bible. And then I start off talking about some of the issues and why it's controversial and why some people don't like it and why other people do. Then I get in and I divide it into 8 sections. 4 in the Old Testament, the Torah, which is the Jewish, basic law, the history books, poetry and wisdom books, and prophets. So those are the 4 Old Testament sections I divided into.
No, but before we go into the New Testament, why'd you pick those 4? Why are those important?
Because those are the basic divisions of the Old Testament from a Christian point of view. Jews have 3 divisions. They have law, prophets, and writings. Christians tend to divide the writings into poetry, wisdom, and history. I mean, it's just a matter of classification is all it is.
Okay.
So, I mean,
how many do the Catholics have?
The Roman Catholics,
Yeah.
They have the same basic Old Testament, except they add the Apocrypha to the end of it.
Yeah, they had to have more, didn't they? Yeah.
Well, they always seem to try to outclass everything.
Okay,
Yes,
so that's the first 4. What are the second 4?
Second 4, again, it's not rocket science. It's Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. The book of Acts, which is the 30-year history of the early church. The bulk of the New Testament, which is the apostolic letters. And then finally the book of Revelation, which belongs in its own category. So 8 sections. And so we go through those 8 sections, and I just kind of show how they interrelate. And
so it's 7 minutes a section.
Something like that.
6 minutes a section.
Right, and
something like that.
And then I follow up with, why I think the Bible is relevant for the 21st century. And that's all the video is.
Wow.
But it's really packed with information.
But do you get the deep stories? You don't get the deep stories. You don't get to learn about Noah and the ark, and you don't get to Moses and the no.
The purpose of this video is overview. Purely overview. If you want detail.
Do you think that when people listen to this and they go and they read the Bible, this intrigues them to get into it more? I
have had a number of my students that participated in the interview said, I'm going to go home and dust my Bible off. Another thing I do is in my Western Civilization class, I do a short 2-week section on the Bible. And that my students look at me and say, well, why are we studying the Bible? This is supposed to be about Western civilization. And I said, you'll thank me later, because as we go through the art and the architecture and the music and the literature of Western civilization, this is the storyline for much of it. You go to the Renaissance, study Renaissance art, you stumble over the Bible in almost every piece.
I'm going to tell you that I'd miss the stories. I think that's what keeps me turning the pages, you know?
It is. The stories are fascinating, and for that, you got to go to the Bible itself. But here's what this gives you: at least the framework to put things in it.
This is number 5 on your list
That's
of
my
videos.
number
What are
5
the
of
other
videos.
4, Mike?
My first one was Understanding Islam, because people ask about that all the time.
Did you write that because of 9/11?
Yes, indeed. Because people were desperate for information,
Sure.
good information about
Sure.
Islam.
And then the guy in UC said last week, just because of his name,
Right.
all of a sudden people, terrorists, they start hearing. You read this, will this change people's minds?
I think so. In terms of my Islam video, I mean, there's no denying there's radical Islam out there, but the bulk of Islam is not really about that, and that's what that video is there to inform people on. Same thing. Then the next 2 were on Mormonism and Jehovah's Witness, not because they're, terrorists.
Two other ones that are highly misunderstood,
well,
right?
They're the ones that people always wonder about.
Some of the nicest people I know, both of them.
They want to know why they're at your door, and what's different about them. So I made videos about those. And then the 4th one
What
was...
do you do when they come to your door? You invite them in, have a talk?
I usually say, let them know that they're probably dealing with the big guns when they come to my door.
Oh,
because
you don't invite them in for a cheese sandwich?
I generally let them know that I'm a theological specialist.
I can one-up you. Everything you say, I can get over on you.
Just that it's not going to be worth their while to talk to somebody like me, usually.
What do they say? What do they say when they come back? Oh, yes, it would.
They usually don't come back. And again, I got friends that are in those religions, but
it's not okay to say that.
I'm just not a candidate for what they have to offer. And then the New Age was my 4th one, about the New Age movement. So
awesome. Awesome. You're here every week. We're coming into the holidays. I bet you got some things to talk about then too, right?
We've got a great special on this video.
Oh.
Mindcuisine.com, MINDCUISINE.com. There's a special going on. Go to the product page. This is a great stocking stuffer for the holidays.
Oh, I can see people getting really excited opening up that one. All right. Mike Bogart,
I don't know whether to accept that as a compliment or not.
Always good to see you. I love talking to you.
All
Hey,
right.
we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back in the buzz. Stick around.
Thanks.